It's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. And look at this circus of a hearing that's going on.
And I gave him the kind of funeral that he wanted.
The other thing that we blocked yesterday was the SAVE Act, right? Which was literally allow this administration to rig our democracy so that it would be hard for any Democrat in any state to win any election. And disenfranchise all married women in the meantime, by the way.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
For 250 years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders, we determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers.
Well, we have more on the Lindsey Graham quote-unquote heart attack and the comms wrapped around it. How many more issues seem to be lining up for an accelerated removal of many more in power. The speech that President Trump will bring Thursday. The comms related to how fast this will all move, and much more on the Dems' moves and admission of stealing elections. 513,000 followers on Rumble. We thank you for that. Also for hitting that follow button and comments below. You've gotten us again up to number 2 on the leaderboard next to Dan Bongino. We really appreciate your following and more. So just wanted to show you this here.
Our new And We Know bracelets connect you with scripture with just the tap of your phone. Simply tap your phone to the bracelet, click the pop-up, and there's a new verse every time. If you're feeling anxious, need to pray, or just want to see what God has for you in the moment, you can tap for a verse and pray over that situation. Now available online.
Online at andweknow.com, and you guys can go there and check it out. We're going to have more pictures of Patriots wearing their gear later on in this broadcast. Thanks for sending those in.
Just on Iran, you have said now to Congress that we are back at war. How long do you expect this to take? And what's the legal
Take what? Take what?
The war.
Well, I think it's going very fast. We've demolished their military. We're hitting them very hard. We had a deal yesterday or the day before yesterday. It was all done. And then they broke up that deal immediately because they found out there was something in the deal they didn't like. And they're wired differently, and we're not going to put up with it. We are just going forward. We're attacking them tonight. We're taking out all of their capability for anything having to do with the Strait, with the Hormuz Strait. And I think in the end, we will end up just controlling the whole thing. And what they're doing is being very foolish, very stupid, and they've treated people horribly. They've killed 52,000 protesters so far that we can determine.
He's taking care of Iran. The people are being lined up and killed, 52,000 to be exact in this Iranian regime take over this country. It's being cleaned up one day at a time. Now, update, the IRGC Supreme Commanding General Ahmad Wahidi, who took command after several of his fellow generals were killed at the start of the war, was killed in a U.S. airstrike in Tehran last night. And so let's continue with this. President Trump went on different shows talking about what's going on.
Well, I think they're a little cuckoo. I think they all are. We knocked out the first regime. We then knocked out the second regime. We then took out about 25% of this regime. And they're wired a little bit differently. We had a deal yesterday. It was like going to be 100%. And then all of a sudden they got a phone call and they all ran out of the room. These people are crazy. We had a deal where we won everything. And they basically break the deals. You know, they make deals, and to them, deals are made to be broken. They are extremely unreliable people. And frankly, if they ever had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it within one day.
One day for the nuclear weapon. And he keeps warning us about the weapons that they had, what they were going to do with them, and more. And I think many have woken up to how that played out. Now, here's something very interesting. Former Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is reportedly under house arrest after Iran uncovered his secret contacts with Israeli intelligence. So remember that Q Post 484 that was given to us in 2018, January. Hussein, HRC, and many more must be terrified. Ahmadinejad talking. Where did all the money go? How many planes? Where did the planes land? Why were clowns and private contractors escorting? Why cash? Why offshore cash? Why wasn't Congress notified for approval? Where did the bank wires originate from? We're talking about all that money, guys, that was put on pallets and sent over there. Coincidence, all donations to the Clinton Foundations terminated post-defeat? What did Australia, UK obtain in exchange for all that money? Wow. Where do the majority of the Rothschilds reside? Who are the Muslim Brotherhood? Oh, yeah, the ones that are infiltrating our country. Who is Awan and Huma? Who created ISIS? Who controlled ISIS? Who's MS-13? Well, hard to swallow. Watch the news. Oh, we're watching the news, all right. And Observing Consciousness was on this and created this graphic for us to look at. The Boogeyman Connection, Public Enemy Private Channel. It was all staged. It was all geared to create constant friction in the Middle East. So the Boogeyman Connection. We're showing how this all works. Ahmadinejad spent years as the face of Iran's war against Israel. Now he is reportedly under house arrest after Iran uncovered secret contacts with Israeli intelligence. Think about that. The man sold the world as Israel's greatest enemy may have also been one of its most valuable connections inside Iran. The loudest enemy in public, the quietest channel in private. That is how intelligence works. The boogeyman keeps everyone looking at the stage while the real relationship behind the curtain. It was all staged. It was all geared to create constant friction in the Middle East. We've got some more here.
But we had a deal. What nobody knows, we had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people. And so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're gonna keep the Strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the Strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the Strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side. And we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years. You know, we guarded the Strait for 50 years more, and we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, they wouldn't. It's amazing. We never made. We guarded it for nothing, and now we're going to guard it. We're going to get paid for guarding it, a lot of money. But we just want to be reimbursed for doing all of this, for putting our people in danger. But we're really not putting people. We're really saving people. Remember this: they killed 52,000 protesters so far. As of this moment, the number is 52,000. So who's going to protest? And a lot of people are surprised about the protesting, that they haven't. But nobody's going to protest when they get shot. They have AK-47s. They have machine guns aimed at people's heads. If you move 1 foot further, you get shot. And then they'll shoot 10 of them, and everybody flees. Who's not going to flee? They don't have guns. Right. So they're a bad group of people. Let me just tell you that. I don't say that often, and I have to live with that statement. They're a bad group of people. They've been this way for a long time. And right now, they're getting their ass kicked, and in the top form.
So now, if we move over and look at President Trump, the mainstream media is always paid to do nothing but make President Trump look like the bad guy. So Kate and Collins, he let her ask a question. Check this out.
So you think a deal is still possible? You think they'll return to that?
Yeah, I think a deal is possible. Sure, I do.
But, Mr. President, you noted the United States is bombing Iran again. I mean, you've been bombing Iran for months now. Is this just the new normal for the American people?
Well, we're in Vietnam for...
You've been bombing for months now. Is this the new normal?
Well, we're in Vietnam for 19 years. We're here for 4 months. So I think we've done a lot. We've knocked out their Navy in a period of 1 month. We knocked out their Air Force. Their Air Force is non-existent. We knocked out most of their missiles, most of their drones. We knocked out their drone manufacturing capability, about 92%. Their missile capability for manufacturing, we knocked out 89%. And they have a little capability, but they don't have any capability for us. This is almost a military skirmish. Now, with all of that being said, you have to get people that want to make something. We had a deal with them 2 days ago, and then they said, oh, we can't make that deal. We have to negotiate it further. And this is what they've done for 47 years. The difference is nobody negotiated like I do.
Imagine Caitlin Collins sitting there, again, no matter what she throws at him, continues to get thrown back at her. So President Trump said the Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it is only stopping Iran's ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait, but as such, and as a matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped, for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very volatile section of the world. The process and formation will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Now, we're going to get into just remembering what President Trump endured a few years ago at Butler. And we're going to also show a video that was posted showing what he was basically brought up through into our psyche and understanding him more, and the speech that he's going to give Thursday, speculation on what's going on there. We're living in a world where plastic is no longer just around us, it's inside us.
And we start with a new study on the impact of microplastics, which found human brains contained as much plastic as a plastic spoon, which is up 50% from 2016.
What we're finding is in the brains of people who have dementia, there's actually higher amounts of microplastics.
And these microplastics don't stay just in your brain. When that ecosystem is disrupted, your health can suffer, triggering inflammation, high blood sugar, and oxidative stress, the leading driver of cancer. The good news is that while you can avoid microplastics entirely, you can support your gut and help your body fight back. That's where kimchi comes in. Certain probiotic strains found in kimchi have demonstrated the ability to not only remove toxins like BPA, new research is also exploring how these same beneficial bacteria may help bind and excrete microplastics before they can go and do further damage. Kimchi is one of the world's most powerful superfoods, but its strong taste and smell can make daily use a challenge. So Kimchi 1 gives you all the benefits of fermented kimchi in an easy-to-take capsule without the mess or hassle. Each capsule delivers over 900 probiotic strains like enzymes and antioxidants that help restore balance in your gut. People are seeing improvements in digestion, bloating, regularity, energy, and metabolism. Studies show that kimchi can even reduce the risk of obesity by 31.8%. Kimchi 1 is made with all natural, non-GMO ingredients and 100% made in the USA. I personally love knowing that I'm supporting my gut, immune system, and overall health with one simple daily capsule. If you're looking for an easy way to help your body fight back against today's toxic environment, Kimchi 1 is it. You can get 25% off your order by going to the link below, or for an even better deal, call my friends at Brightcore and they'll give you up to 50% off plus free shipping. Call 888-317-9941. The first 100 callers to order will also get a free bottle of vitamin D3. Again, you can only get the 50% off, free shipping, and free bottle of vitamin D3 when you call. Once again, that number is 888-317-9941.
Donald was the young man who was going to conquer Manhattan.
He takes chances that would make a less daring man shudder.
To think about the arc of where he's been, it's like some sort of mythical story or something.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged.
My God, that guy's got resilience.
Those who deal with you underestimate you and live to regret it.
It's always good to be underestimated. It is not about politics. It's about our love for this great country, America, and we're not going to let it fail. I will fight like no one has ever fought before.
Trump is the bodyguard of Western civilization.
You want to talk about a fighter, a walk through fire? He's an absolute savage.
He knows that this is much bigger than him. This is about the American people. They have no idea what they have unleashed. He was ready to go face the cameras and come out swinging.
What will future Americans say we did in our brief time here on Earth? It will be defined by your vision, your perseverance, and your grit. Nothing will sway us, nothing will slow us, and no one will ever stop us. We are Americans. Ambition is our heritage. Greatness is our birthright, and the future belongs to us.
Posted by President Donald J. Trump. Now, remembering yesterday, a new Inspector General report released 2 years after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, says the Secret Service missed more than 100 radio transmissions warning about the suspected gunman. The attack killed firefighter Corey Comparator as he shielded his family and wounded 2 others. Investigators say communication failures and security lapses represented missed opportunities to stop the shooting. What in the world's going on there? President Trump will address the nation Thursday, July 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there's been folks that are talking about what they feel is going to be talked about. Cue the storm, says President Trump's about to drop the hammer. Georgia Senators John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock were illegitimately elected. FBI investigation into Fulton County 2020 fraud just sealed it. The case has been built for months, and it's all exploding now. Democrats are in full panic mode. Trump was right the entire time. No more stolen Senate seats. No more fake victories. The Swamp's Georgia machine is finished. Patriots, this is the accountability we fought for. And we'll move forward from that. So Washington Reporter actually said President Trump's planning to announce that Georgia's 2 senators are illegitimate because of fraud. A well-placed source in Georgia tells us. Announcement could come as soon as tonight. So it's interesting. A lot of speculation. We're not sure if this is true or not, folks. We're just telling you what's going around. Awaken Outlaw, and that would only be the beginning. Many on the left, and for that matter, even the right as well, are in no way, shape, form going to have an easy time wrapping their minds around what's going to come out. In fact, many of them are going to freak out, and we're going to be here for all of it. Now, let's get to Lindsey Graham for a moment. A few moments, actually a little bit longer. President Trump posted this. Lindsey Graham, the senator, soldier, and statesman who never backed down, from the New York Post. On July 13th, 2026 at 6:34 p.m. That's 1834 military time. Well, 1834 on the keyboard says they never thought she would lose. Now they all lose. Straight from President Donald J. Trump. Q+. That's Q+. When you see a Q and a plus next to it, that means it's direct comms from the president. Also, 6:34 on the cue board, that's the time this was posted. Heart attacks can be deadly. Wow. He didn't post it at 6:33. He didn't post it at 6:35. 6:34, which goes directly to Q, heart attacks can be deadly. Didn't Lindsey Graham just supposedly die of a heart attack? Ultra Magadine asked. But that being said, President Trump is sending us a huge comm. Now they all lose, and many will exit via heart attacks because, as we all know, heart attacks can be deadly. More comms out there from the White House. Fight, fight, fight. 2 years ago in Butler, Pennsylvania, an assassin opened fire on President Donald J. Trump. By the grace of God, his life was spared as he rose to his feet, blood on his face, fist raised high. That moment because an enduring symbol of resilience, courage, and unbreakable determination for an entire nation. So this whole White House post starts off with fight, fight, fight. Ultra Magadine reminds us it's a 3-second video showing that painting of President Trump from Butler, PA. And that timestamp is 9:49. Now, if it's a 3-second video, we look at cue drop number 3. Open your eyes. It finally came out that Rod and Bob were key players in the uranium scandal. Remember the uranium shipped out from Hillary Clinton overseas to our enemies? Don't you think POTUS, President of the United States, would be tweeting about removal given clear conflict? Why did President meet Bob under the cover of FBI director interview, Bob Mueller. Bob is unable to serve as director per the law. Gowdy comments on Comey. POTUS says everything. Not everyone is corrupt. Fewer than you think. Follow Huma. There's that Huma again, Huma Abedin. Operation Mockingbird, that's the media, the liars. Priority to clean out the bad actors, to unite people behind the America First agenda. Many in our government worship Satan. Not about Republicans versus Democrats at this stage. Where is Hillary Rodham Clinton? Why is the National Guard called up across 12 cities? Oh, eyes on that one. Trusting your president. Q949, that's the date, the time that it was posted, 9:49 a.m. Q team, trust Sessions still or nah? Why is Fox saying McCabe will skate? Trust the plan, full control. The calm, fight, trusting your president, trust the plan. We are in full control. Now, the information that's flying all over X, people speculating on Lindsey Graham and more. Sunny Day said he was either part of the plot or the source of the intel that saved Trump's life. We will never know, says Sunny Day. Well, Joe M. chimed in on that one, said, we will know when we see the flag on the casket. That's for the funeral, folks. If the flag, the United States flag, is wrinkled, then he was part of the plot, in which case he met the fate of McCain. If he was, on the other hand, the flag is perfectly smoothly steamed, he was taken out by an enemy agent. We're going to see that when the funeral's held. In that case, we will understand why the escalation against Iran, the third option, that it was just a genuine heart attack, is not the truth. No way did a high-level senator with excellent medical care not know or be told or treated for or have fixed any heart issues. We will know. Be an astute observer. Now, New York Post showed this. Lindsey Graham had among the lowest wealth in Congress despite a lifetime at the center of power. Huh. Joe Lang says, asked us, did anybody expect this news? Is it possible that though he was a warmonger, he wasn't near as corrupt as many of us believed? 35 years in Congress. MTG left with far more wealth after a handful of years. Might not be a coincidence that Trump had a better relationship with Lindsey than MTG. And so Insider Wire said over a dozen FBI agents seen outside Lindsey Graham's D.C. residence. It was yesterday. Okay, so Kimberly Auer looked at this, posted, quote, I'm being advised actions have created accelerated counteractions. We have not ascertained the scope of the attack. Watch the news outlets. Was Lindsey Graham on this? Think about this, fellow patriots. I'm being advised, it's all on the cue board. Watch the news outlets. President's Twitter takedown. Should the lights go out, please know we are in control. Do not panic. We're prepared. Assets in place. Very interesting. So Joe Lang had a post, number 4. So we went through 1, 2, and 3 of, I believe we went through 3. If not, I'll have to go back and find that one. 1 second. Actually, part 3 we didn't hit, but it was real quick. What's really happening about Lindsey Graham's sudden death? Did Lindsey Graham die from cardiac arrest? Now, Joe Lang did a great job, and a lot of folks appreciated his post and his insight. What's really happening? Did Lindsey Graham die from cardiac arrest? Is there more to the story? Possibly. Lindsey purposely exposed the location of the secret drone factory in Ukraine, and if it was subsequently destroyed, then the deep state elements in Ukraine would certainly have motivation for the revenge. What if Ukraine intelligence targeted Lindsey Graham? They were caught doing a similar thing recently in Monaco. Timing to this story, a little more than a week before the NATO summit, couldn't be more intriguing. The woman suspected of carrying out a parcel bombing in Monaco, which injured a sanctioned Ukrainian multimillionaire and his family, has been found dead, Ukraine's security services said. Cross-border manhunt been launched for Anastasia Berezovska, a Ukrainian woman who officials believed had fled the wealthy city-state after planning the bomb in the entrance hall of an apartment building on 29 June. She had tried to kill a wealthy Ukrainian with Russia ties and businesses in Crimea. The SBU said she communicated with her family and 2 men after entering Ukraine, a former law enforcement officer and a current officer in Ukraine's main Directorate of Intelligence, an agency of the Ministry of Defense. 2 men were investigated as possible accomplices in the Monaco attack. So a member of Ukraine's intelligence agency and a former law enforcement officer were charged with murdering the assassin after it was discovered that they had paid her money in crypto. Who was really behind the attempted assassination in Monaco? Both men were arrested because Interpol knew who the suspect was and that she had fled back to Ukraine. So, does anybody think these two men weren't taking orders from someone? If Lindsay had purposely betrayed Zelensky and targeted the Ukrainian drone factory for destruction, then Lindsay might certainly be in danger from retaliation. It's also a possibility that Russia killed Lindsay, considering that he has been one of the strongest voices against Putin in this war. Many good researchers are exposing the very public threats made against Lindsay from Alexander Dugin, a big supporter of Putin because he shared his belief in traditional Russian values. Here's his deleted post. Better to kill this guy and he's a problem for Trump. The world will be better without him. Does that automatically implicate Russia? No. I don't believe Alexander Dugin speaks for the Kremlin or has a close relationship to Putin. I could be wrong, but Dugin has had a deep hatred for Ukraine after his daughter was killed by a car bomb. Our intelligence agency suspected connections to the Ukrainian government. Was Lindsay a threat to Russia? His rhetoric certainly has been. And so that happened in 2022, where Lindsey Graham said that the only way Russia's invasion of Ukraine ends is for somebody in Russia to take Putin out. He said this guy, but we knew he was talking about Putin. Lindsey was at the NATO summit working with other senators. He was working with 4 senators to bring sanctions against countries purchasing Russian oil and gas. Is that a real threat to Russia? Haven't they already created a system outside of SWIFT to avoid sanctions? So that was part 3. And then I wanted to take you through part 4 here in a moment. This is just great insight. Joe Lang, great job. Great job. We're going to get to that in a moment. Are you tired of tap water loaded with toxins like lead, arsenic, and chlorine? That hidden danger building up in your pipes, your showers, your family's health? What if every drop could be pure, mineral-rich, and delicious instead? Introducing the AQ Whole House Water Filtration System from Sentry H2O. The revolutionary 2-stage powerhouse neutralizes hard and soft scale, no salt needed, while stripping away over a dozen nasty contaminants, fluoride, pesticides, bacteria, even pharmaceuticals. Custom options for city or well water, including iron and nitrates removal. For homes up to 2,500 square feet, it delivers alkaline, calcium-enriched water. Every faucet can get it. Say goodbye to dry skin and dull hair. Sentry H2O's shower water filter hydrates like a spa day. Their compact under-sink wellness system, it's a 5-stage filtration in zero-waste design, boost pH, adds magnesium, installs in 15 minutes, no plumber required. Thousands of families transforming their water. So folks, shop the AQ Revolution at sentryh2o.com/AQ in the description box below. Please use that code AWK for 10% off, and that if you're starting a New Year's health journey, toxin-free water can help with weight loss and overall health as well. We interviewed Nelson last month. See the full interview in the link below to learn more. So let's continue here. Lindsey Graham's sudden death. Lindsey Graham was at the NATO summit in Turkey with a handful of other senators, working on issues to help Ukraine. He had supposedly secured an agreement with Trump to place stronger sanctions on countries purchasing Russian oil and gas. But the 2 countries that Lindsey was referring to were China and India, both of which were members of BRICS Plus, along with Russia. They have already created a new financial system for trade outside of the SWIFT system. And as I've written about many times, I believe they are all working with Trump to take down the centralized financial system that includes SWIFT. So were the sanctions a ploy to gain Zelensky's trust? Guess what else Zelensky was requesting from Lindsey and Trump? Quote, only 2 countries currently hold licenses to manufacture Patriot missiles. If the U.S. president follows through on his promise, Ukraine would become the 3rd. The meeting between the Ukrainian and U.S. presidents during the NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey, marked a major breakthrough in bilateral defense cooperation. It was accompanied by what could become one of the most significant announcements in Ukraine's air defense history. According to U.S. President Donald J. Trump, Ukraine will receive a license to manufacture missiles for the Patriot air defense system. That seems like a huge deal, don't you think? Here's what Trump said. That way, you won't be able to complain that we aren't giving you enough. Make them yourselves, Trump said. He also added Ukraine would be able to master production relatively quickly once we explain them how to do it. Can you see the contradiction? Isn't Trump trying to quickly end the war in Ukraine to bring peace and save lives? Wouldn't allowing Ukraine to create their own Patriot missiles for defense just extend the war even longer? I can't help but think that this was a concession to Zelensky through negotiations with Lindsey Graham in order to gain Zelensky's trust. Trust for what? Access to Ukraine's secret drone factory that would be responsible for assembling Patriot missiles. Was this deception by Trump and Lindsey to get Zelensky to reveal his drone factory so it could be targeted for destruction? Wouldn't that bring the war to a much faster end? I believe Trump offering Zelensky the license and instructions on manufacturing of Patriot missiles was bait. Why? Because the only two countries that are currently licensed to build Patriot missiles, Japan and Germany, are still relying on critical parts from American manufacturers. And it will take several years for Ukraine to build the first missile. It would take Ukraine several years for the Patriot missiles. Does anybody think that this war will still be going on several years from now? I think Trump is already working on ending this war in the background, and if that secret drone factory was recently destroyed, the odds of the war ending sooner rather than later has massively increased. Before these events, we were getting several media stories of Ukrainian drones taking out Russian oil facilities and shipping. If those stories suddenly cease or vastly diminish, then maybe we can assume the factory was actually destroyed. Trump isn't a fan of Zelensky and has accused him of standing in the way of peace. I think Trump already knows that this licensing offer is for show and won't actually happen until years after the war is over and Zelensky is no longer in power. These are also defensive missiles. Trump is pushing to end the war and save lives on both sides. Does Lindsey's death jeopardize this deal? Is peace now coming? So he says, I believe that Lindsey Graham was working with Trump on foreign policy issues to end forever wars and remove deep state dictators. His warmonger reputation was a useful tool that could be used by Trump. They had a great relationship, regardless of what people think about Lindsey. But that wasn't always the case. Lindsey was used to be really good friends with no-name McCain. Yeah, that's why he criticized Trump early on. But everything changed. I have said for years that Lindsey was leveraged because of his involvement with McCain in foreign affairs. When did things change? After McCain's death. What the media will never tell you is that McCain didn't die from cancer. That was the narrative. The truth is McCain was put to death for treason, and because we are still engaged in a real war with a dangerous enemy, that truth is still hidden. Now let me fast forward to that clip, just a reminder from John Kasich, what he said on CNN.
It's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. And look at this circus of a hearing that's going on.
And I gave him the kind of funeral that he wanted, which as president, I had to approve.
Like, you're so sensitive. First of all, you're talking about sitting senators and you're talking about Congress people, Maxine Waters, Mitt Romney, Adam Schiff, Bernie Sanders, President Obama, the Clintons, my father, you can't kill him again, but whatever. My father, you can't kill him again, but whatever.
You can't kill him again, but whatever, they killed him. John Kasich said he was put to death.
John McCain was put to death. And look at this circus.
He was put to death. That's how it gets out. They start running their mouth and the information flows. So what people don't realize is the timing of McCain's death coincided with two important events. The first was the vote to repeal Obamacare. Lindsey Graham was a co-sponsor pushing for the repeal, and he had supposedly gained McCain's support. But in McCain's biggest show of defiance against Trump, he waited to be the final vote for repeal, then gathered media attention as he voted thumbs down. McCain showed Trump that he would defy him on everything. He had been a big proponent for repealing Obamacare until Trump was pushing for it, and it looked like it was about to happen. But that wasn't why McCain was killed for treason. The timeline is very important. Hillary wasn't supposed to lose. When Trump became president, McCain took a secret emergency trip to Syria. That happened in February of 2017. Nobody was supposed to know about this trip because we didn't have diplomatic relations with Syria. But this was McCain's second secret trip to Syria to meet with a group of people he called rebels and freedom fighters. In reality, they were ISIS leaders in Syria, including al-Baghdadi. If you guys are looking at your screen, there's the picture on Q Drop 732. Obama, Hillary, and McCain were funding ISIS and arming them through Libya after the overthrow of Gaddafi. On that Q drop 732 with his picture there, we don't say his name returning to primetime. Wonder if his so-called illness condition will flare up. He's not a war hero. He's a mega millionaire, M Institute, Rothschild, Clinton's essay, etc. Define money laundering, define the word traitor. A world without this man is a world better off. We also had pictures on Q drop 1095 with him there standing with ISIS. Trump had already taken the gloves off the military to destroy ISIS. We were battling them in Mosul, Iraq, and planning to take back Raqqa, Syria from them when McCain made the secret trip to Syria. On Wednesday, the U.S.-led anti-ISIS coalition pushed further into Mosul, Iraq's second largest city, in a bid to wrest control it from ISIS, which captured the city in 2014. Meanwhile, the U.S. military and its allies have for months been preparing a campaign to retake Raqqa in Syria, where ISIS has its de facto capital. Members of Congress rarely travel to Syria, as that does not have diplomatic ties to the U.S. Was McCain just meeting with our troops, or was he actually warning our enemies? McCain was worried about evidence of treason in Syria stemming from his previous trip back in 2013. Q told us McCain was panicked. Remember, Q dropped 1087, April 8, 2018. No name in Syria. Timeline? What's the purpose? Who attended? No name panic. Health cover. Remember, you try to cover it with health. Fast. Q. You have more than you know. It's a spider web. Q drop 5, 2017. What if John M. never had surgery, and that was a cover-up for a future out if needed against prosecution? McCain was an enemy combatant. Just a coincidence that Lindsay questioned Kavanaugh at his confirmation hearing on that subject. Remember, we played that yesterday about traitors in your own country. The timeline leading to McCain's death is revealing. Trump Twitter post on May 10th, 2018. 5 most wanted leaders of ISIS just captured. Not killed. They were captured. Panic in D.C. That means they were running their mouth and talking, singing like a bird. Q drop 1326. Names? Question mark. No name previous meetings? Oh, ISIS. Panic? Discussions of death and a funeral? Oh, maybe they're talking about his funeral and how they're going to have to do it. And President Trump has to sign off on it. Medical or escape? Well, he had a medical issue, is what they were telling the public. Now comes the pain. Wow. You guys capturing it now? Starting to get all this, how it's all put together. Thank you, Joe Lang, again, for putting that all together. Amazing work. The White House had a vehicle, one of these fast cars, visiting. IndyCar pit stop outside the White House. That is so cool. Who would have ever thought we'd see an IndyCar pit stop in front of the White House? Can you imagine? I see those Marines in the background. They're like, man, I just went to boot camp. I became a Marine. Then I went to put my uniform on a few years later. I was, I was in high school just 2, 3, 4 years ago. One guy was 4 years ago. He's a corporal there, and he got a lance corporal. And the next thing you know, I'm standing in front of the White House. President's right in front of me, and they got an Indy car, man, go right past me. So cool. White House said full speed, moving at warp speed to make America great again. Kimberly Hour saw this. Dropped at 1:07 p.m. That's dropped to 0 at 17. Warp speed. 10 times speed now underway. Did Lindsay's death create an acceleration point? Speed accelerated +5. 10 times speed now underway. Huh. Makes you wonder. Also, U.S. Department of Labor told us, thanks to President of the United States, patriotism is back. You betcha. It's back big time. Now we're going to go to the Democrat Socialists of America. We're going to talk about them. Marco Rubio how he's protecting our nation against these international criminal courts, and so much more. But I wanted to make sure you guys knew about our new Bedazzled Crew neck and t-shirt. Get your free shipping all weekend long. And if you guys want to know, we've got a new website coming for andweknow.com soon. We're going to post it hopefully this week, we hope. But in the meantime, if you hit that contact button there on andweknow.com, when you go there, you'll be able to basically attach a photo. And you, right here, send a photo. You just click on that. And you put your name and your email and send a message, and we'll get that photo and we'll upload it for all to see on these videos, and it'll be on our new website also. And as you go through our website, all of our videos are there. Our newsletter sign up is there if you want to get latest news. We have it. All of our partners and so much more. Social media. So I just want to let you know, if you click on these, you'll see the pictures of people sending pictures of their gear also, and we know Showcase. Here's more great pictures of Patriots wearing our gear.
For 250 years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders, we determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government. It is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from us. They believe that they should be in charge of your laws, of your country, your life. And they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But chances are you don't know the names of its judges, of its prosecutors, or its president. And you shouldn't have to. But as we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country, not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes and compacts and the force of so-called international law. When the ICC was born 24 years ago, they told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. But the truth is, it was something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats who claim their power is almost unlimited. The danger of this global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system. Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country, American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland, prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle, all of them would be at the mercy of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country. The American people never agreed to any of this, and they never will. Read the words of our Declaration of Independence. We fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us. This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people. If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve.
You get him, Marco Rubio. Outstanding. And one of those that should be going to court, hopefully in the United States someday, would be Democrat Senator Elisa Slotkin. And listen to this.
The other thing that we blocked yesterday was the SAVE Act, right? Which was literally allow this administration to rig our democracy so that it would be hard for any Democrat in any state to win any election, and disenfranchise all married women in the meantime, by the way. And just you have to show your birth certificate at the polls if you have a married name.
So they're doing all they can to try to flood into the minds of the people who are easily bamboozled and lied to. Oh, you know, all you women out there that got a new name, got married, you're going to have to bring your birth certificate. It's going to affect you in the way that you're. So you're saying that that's going to cause problems for the Democrats in winning elections because of the women that had another marriage? It's not going to work. She's basically admitting by saying the Save America Act will make it pretty much impossible for Democrats to win anymore. She's admitting that they steal the elections. The illegals are the way they get through. No photo ID, it's how they get through. Using the machines, it's how they get through. And you have guys like this freak Newscomb, who shouldn't be a leader at all, got in through a bunch of lies, continued to spout his mouth because he doesn't know what he's doing. He gets his talking orders, and he wants to embrace radical DSA socialists.
You know, when I ran for mayor, just for what it's worth, I ran against a member of the Green Party, which was, you know, had aspects of the DSA that we know it today. There's so many aspects of the debates and arguments today that are just deeply familiar, and I think it's a very healthy thing. I'm one of those Democrats that deeply believes in addition, not division. And so I want a Big Ten party. I want to win.
Yeah, he's losing his mind. So Spencer Pratt posted socialism is sedition with this video from Canary Mission.
It's no secret that the Democratic Socialists of America...
Let me move this so you can actually see the words. I've put Spencer Pratt there.
It's no secret that the Democratic Socialists of America hate the Democratic Party.
I think we're all on the same page that we hate the Democratic Party.
The Democratic Party is not really our friend. It isn't.
So why are the DSA such major players in the Democratic Party? This odd relationship can be understood with the cuckoo analogy. In nature, the cuckoo survives by trickery. It lays its egg in another bird's nest. The unsuspecting parents raise the imposter as their own until the cuckoo grows strong enough to push the true chicks out. The DSA is the cuckoo inside the Democratic Party.
DSA is not the Democratic Party.
We must separate ourselves from the toxic Democratic Party.
We can put forward a clear, aggressive, principled strategy that pushes back against the Democratic leadership and the Democratic Party as a whole.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
I don't agree with the Democratic Party, but it's a great tool.
The Democratic is a tool that we use.
Once in office, DSA candidates take orders from DSA's internal enforcers and working groups. City halls and state houses start running as socialist machines controlled by the organization, not the Democratic Party and certainly not voters.
They have to have a connection with DSA's internal politics, and they have to be committed to the eventual goal of building a separate entity from the Democrats.
DSA are revolutionaries, and the Democrats are their first victims. And in city after city, DSA victories prove their plan works.
I think that the model that we used in New York is 100% replicatable.
And just like the cuckoo, once the DSA grows strong, it pushes the true Democrats out, hollowing the party from within.
Building towards political independence and tearing apart the Democratic Party.
The DSA is not here to strengthen the Democratic Party. It is here to consume it.
We're not here to make the Democrats a little bit better. We're here to actually enact socialism. And socialism is not just better capitalism. It's overthrowing the entire capitalist state.
It's our duty, DSA, to cultivate this power.
The cuckoo is in the nest, and New York City is poised to elect not a Democrat, but Zohran Mamdani, an extremist within the DSA.
We understand that winning an election is not an end. It is a means to an end.
So the most important thing that we can do is take that empire down from within.
Ultimately to overthrow our own empire.
We need a movement that can drive a stake to the heart of the empire.
We need to orient ourselves towards insurrection.
Yeah. Hostile takeover. Of course, they call it the Socialists of America. Lump them all together as communists, and you get exactly what's been playing out. Now, saw this from PBS NewsHour.
More Muslim Americans ran for political office during this year's midterms than ever before. 153 in total. That's according to a report from the Council on American Islamic Relations and Jetpack Resource Center. And more of them won their races than in any past election. Jeff Bennett has more.
Judy, this year's elections proved to be historic, with 89 Muslim American candidates winning local, state, federal, and judicial seats across 25 states.
Yeah, 89 wins. That was a while back. Now, start doubling that, tripling that. Then you get to 500, then you get to mayors, and then you start seeing what's happening in the UK where with all their mayors, and then they slip in little by little. Before you know it, they get their power, and then they start bringing in the governors, and before you know it, they've got senators, and then before you know it, they change the laws. Before you know it, our Constitution has been destroyed. We hope that does not play out. We hope that according to our Heavenly Father's will, we'll be able to win and fight back. But it's very difficult when you got these Democrats, like this U.S. Senate candidate, Jordan Wood, out of Maine.
Particularly in this Trump administration, we have seen the targeted, racist, and bigoted attacks on the Somali community specifically. To be clear, the Somali immigrant and refugee community has been a part of our community here in Lewiston particularly, but also the greater Portland area for decades.
So they're going to cry racism, Islamophobia, and more, because that's what they do. And the hope is, when we saw earlier that, if we allow voter ID and the Save America Act, the Democrats will no longer be in power, then we'll see guys like this gone. And hopefully we'll finally see true conservatives take back this country. And we'll see deportations and even more. Now, remember that migrant who fled Ireland after taking the life of the New York mom, Jamie Carney? Well, he was arrested in Jordan. So what we found out was that he actually asked her for a huge deposit of money. She gave him just about everything she had. And next thing you know, he took her life, and then he fled back to Jordan thinking he'll never get caught. And remember, she's like all about Palestinians and blah, blah, blah. Well, she's gone. He fled, and they got him. Now, this is Philadelphia. USA. Buzz Patterson said, it reminds me of walking the streets of Mogadishu. Wake up, America. Philadelphia surrendering to Islam. City now boasts 82 mosques, with 3 new ones rising every year. 82 mosques. Thousands of American converts fill them as Islam surges throughout this country. Philadelphia, out of all places. Johnny Midnight showed us this. There's been a shooting outside Wilson County, North Carolina courthouse. 21-year-old Abdul Karim Mustafa has been arrested after he ambushed a 19-year-old woman as she was leaving the courthouse. Shot her 6 times. He also shot at least 2 times at deputies and hit one in the arm. It's happening just like in Europe. And then you head over to Fort Wayne Public Park. A Christian tried to enter the park where an Arab festival was told they would arrest him, and it is a criminal trespass. It's a public park. It's illegal for her to do so. She's infringing on his rights.
I'm sorry?
They want you to leave their event.
Am I getting trespassed?
Yes.
Can I have that in writing, please?
No, we don't have to provide it.
I would like that in writing.
We don't have to provide
If you're going to trespass me by law, I would like that in writing.
By law, no, we do not have to provide that in writing.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you absolutely sure?
Sure.
I would like it in writing.
I'm not giving it to you.
I would like a supervisor, sir.
The supervisor is not going to come.
I would like a supervisor.
The supervisor is not going to
The
come.
supervisor will come, or I'll walk over to the Calhoun and I'll talk to the supervisor, one of the two. But I will stand right here then. Am I being ordered out by threat of arrest?
Yes.
Under threat of arrest if I don't leave, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Have a good day.
I thank you. The city's not going to thank you, but I thank you. I'll wait for a supervisor.
They're not coming. I'm not calling them.
You're refusing to call a supervisor? Okay.
Public park. Telling him he can't come in. All right, let's go over to this one here, Florida Voice News.
Potassium bromate has been classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancer as Group 2B, possibly carcinogenic to humans. There's been sufficient evidence of ties to kidney, thyroid, and abdominal cancer. It is a genotoxic, causing oxidative stress, It's been linked to DNA damage and other cellular harms. Again, it's not something that we want to risk when it comes to our kids. It's been proven that acute high-dose exposure could possibly lead to kidney damage as well as hearing loss. So today, this is, again, just the initial aspect of an investigation. Nobody is getting sued today yet. We want to learn more information. We will be issuing subpoenas to companies that do buy and sell products with potassium bromate in them. We will be starting with General Mills and their subsidiary Pillsbury, and the list will likely go on from there.
Let's keep on going. Just getting started. Get our food cleaned up, folks. And remember, we've talked about this over and over again. You go to other countries in Europe and Japan, you find out that, man, all these chemicals that really hurt your body, cause cancer and more, they're not allowed in Europe. Certain cereals and not allowed in Japan. Why? Why are they dumping all kinds of chemicals into our bodies in America, but nowhere else? Got to put a stop to it, and let's hope it goes quickly. The other thing that's happening is our money. Thought you guys would enjoy this.
That these, with the president's signature, will be available.
When liberals see the signature, are they going to light it on fire?
Well, yeah, that's good for the U.S. government when they do it. So, their hair's on fire, so they should keep the currency away from their hair.
I see the president's signature is probably the smallest he's ever written anything.
You have to do your signature in a box, and there's trouble keeping it inside the lines.
Okay. Did he use a Sharpie?
He used a miniature Sharpie.
A mini Sharpie.
A mini Sharpie.
Got it. And this doesn't cost any more money to the taxpayers to put his signature on?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. We rotate the currency always, so nothing extra to the taxpayer. And there's something called...
Yeah. Good info. Always good to see him smile. Scott Bassett and really talk about fun things there, especially President Trump. Can you imagine the signature there? And man, oh no, I don't want that in my wallet. You can imagine the libs freaking out. We're also understanding the video that we post Saturday. Precious metals skyrocket in August is what we're hearing about from Dr. Kirk Elliott. And man, he's been all over this, showing you the time is now again to jump on board before these prices start going up again. Here's a clip from that.
January, when this was a big deal, right? The people were unwinding their shorts. The price was going up. It was skyrocketing. Silver went up 147% for the year, but most of that move was in December and January in a 2-month span. If they didn't unwind their shorts and got rid of these negative positions when the price was going up, they would have lost out big. Right. So this is happening again, which tells me the expectation is that the price is going to go up.
Yep. And we know .com/gold. In the description box below, you reach out to him and his team, and they'll pray with you. They'll answer your questions and so much more. Get your IRAs turned into precious metals. And when we see those prices go up like they're predicting in August, you will be super excited. War correspondents put this out. Trump acting director of national intelligence, Bill Pulte, just announced a third round of firings of the deep state. This comes after President Trump just days ago posted dozens were initially fired by Pulte. Quote, U.S. national intelligence is operating more efficiently and effectively than ever before, and today we started a third round of reducing redundant or non-critical personnel. DNI's future is exceptionally bright. We will be focused on following the law and the statute. War correspondent says, purge as much as possible. Another kind of a strange thing going on is, I think we talked about this before, all these DEI movies just losing money like crazy. 2023, The Little Mermaid, remember they tried to change, they said, oh, we don't really want the original mermaid, we're going to change everything about it, and we're going to change the color, and more. Little Mermaid, $25 million loss, 2023. 2025, Snow White had a $170 million loss. Yeah, woke stuff in there. Supergirl this year projected $125 million loss because they went DEI, anti, basically, anything that has to do with conservative beliefs and more. It's our country. And now we got this movie called The Odyssey, 2026. Here we go again. Basically took that book, Iliad and Odyssey, apart, created their own situations and actors, and replaced everything that was good about the book and said, you know, we're just going to redo it. And I tell you what, it's not going to work. And people are catching on. I saw 88% dislikes on the trailer alone for The Odyssey. Could have been a great movie, but nope. They're ruining that one too. And I wanted to show you another one is, for the kiddos, a lot of folks like to go see the Minions, but this guy put this out.
Have you seen the new Minions movie yet? I haven't, but I've seen the trailer. In the trailer, the Minions are making a movie. And in order to make the movie, they need monsters. So where do you get monsters from? You can't go find them because they're not real. So what do? You get a circle surrounded by candles and a spell book. And inside the circle, you draw a pentagram and an all-seeing eye, according to the trailer. And you start actually summoning demons. And over again, they summon a bunch of demons. And some of them start out really friendly and then turn scary, and then one of them is terrifying and everybody's all scared, and then it turns really cute into this nice little green blob which becomes their best friend for the rest of the movie. They're selling toys for it. You can't get a Happy Meal right now without this little demon in the box, and they're not even hiding it anymore. It's right there in front of us. And I saw a post this morning from someone saying they saw the movie and it was terrible. They never bring their kids back. It was awful. And then I start reading the comments. And of course you get half of them saying, I'm never going to watch it. And half of them saying, it was hilarious. What's wrong with you? But then there was the ones in the middle saying, oh, you conspiracy theorists and you Jesus freaks and you people that can't take a joke and it's a kid's movie. But that's the whole point, isn't it? It's a kid's movie. I have a 7-year-old daughter. You think I'm going to bring her to a show that says, cast spells and summon demons, and some of them might be scary, but they're really your friends, and some of them might be your friends, but then they turn really scary, but then you might find a demon that's really, really fun to hang out with for a couple hours. What are we doing? We're not mad enough. We're not mad enough at what is going on because we laugh at it and we think it's silly and, oh, that's for kids. That is not what kids need to see. How many kids are going to see that even though they know that it's fake and the parents know that it's fake, and they're going to go home and they're going to start calling on demons to be their friends? Or maybe that's the entire point.
Yep. Folks, JC Ministries put that out on TikTok. Sassy Southern Patriot reminding us. Dragging your babies to that new Minions Monsters mess. Yellow pill-shaped demons ain't just causing chaos. They're straight up performing seances, drawing pentagrams on the floor, summoning monsters with witchcraft spellbooks. Folks, we're supposed to stay away from witchcraft. Ephesians 5:11 says, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Protect our kids. Sharik Khan posted this. You know what wrecked me when I was converting to Christianity? Jihad is literally the gospel in reverse. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. The gospel says Christ shed his blood for you. Jihad says you shed your blood for Allah. Jesus lays down his life to save his enemies. Jihad calls you to take the lives of enemies in pursuit of God's favor. Christianity says the shepherd dies so the sheep can live. Jihad says the sheep die hoping the shepherd accepts them. They are mirrors. One is grace, the other is striving. One says it's finished, the other says do more. Jesus never asked me to earn God's love with my blood. He proved God's love by shedding his own. That's why the cross changed everything for me. Jesus didn't come to tell us how to die for God. He came to die for us so we could truly live. Praise God, I am free. Now we need to make all the Muslims into Christians. Saw this from Department of War CTO. Good morning. Never stop fighting, Patriot. Patriots in control. You have that little boy holding his American flag. It's our U.S. military flying right above the ocean there. Ultra Magadine caught hold of this. And notice that it was posted at 9:37 a.m. 9:37 on the cue board says, glimpse, you cannot possibly imagine the size of this. Trust the plan. Trust there are more good than bad. The world is helping. We are not alone. We are all connected in this fight. Patriots unite. Isn't that interesting? Patriots in control on that drop from Department of War CTO. And there we were told on 9:37 a.m., 9:37 post on the cue board, it matches. Patriots unite. We are winning big. Watch the speech. Oh, there's a speech coming up too. God bless.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you again, thanking you for all that you continue to do in and through so many lives of those that are not perfect. But you have chosen leaders at this time on this earth to not only destroy this deep state that's been running for a long, long time against all of us, against this entire earth. They're being systematically destroyed. That old guard is going away. And at the same time, these masters that you've put down on this earth, these very smart people, figured out a way to wake up the public to what has been hurting them, hurting all of us for so long. The spells that were cast on us through satanic rituals, the government being overtaken by Satan, the movie theaters, the television shows, and so much more. We ask that you continue to guide and direct those on the front lines, protect them from the enemy, protect the great leaders who are there now, doing all they can to communicate with us, let us know what's happening behind the scenes, and more. Help us to understand how some of these moves are being made so we have a grasp somehow of how this is working toward our good. We bring this before you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. Boy, a lot of stuff going on. So many things on the comm side and more. I know it can be a little bit confusing at times, but I'm so glad that we have a board, an intel board that's given to us to help us kind of figure out a little bit of how this is all playing out, because the mainstream media certainly won't cover it the way that we do, and others. Pretty phenomenal. Pretty phenomenal. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. This is LT Semper Fi with them we know. Signing out.
It's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. And look at this circus of a hearing that's going on.
And I gave him the kind of funeral that he wanted.
The other thing that we blocked yesterday was the SAVE Act, right? Which was literally allow this administration to rig our democracy so that it would be hard for any Democrat in any state to win any election. And disenfranchise all married women in the meantime, by the way.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
For 250 years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders, we determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers.